Welcome back to the Big Rant Show, the real home of progressives. Now, let's get right to the news today. This is a really tragic situation. It's absolutely awful. On Saturday night in the Middle East, Hamas attacked Israel without any warning and killed lots of people. In turn, Israel has retaliated, and even more people are going to die. Now, let's get talking about it, I guess. Israel has vowed vengeance. They have vowed to completely decimate and lay siege to the Gaza Strip. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you right off the bat, I am not a supporter of the Israeli government. I do not like what they've done to the Palestinian people. I do not support it. The apartheid regime must end. And I completely am tired of hearing about how Israel is literally forcing people off of, you know, land that was, generationally in Palestinian hands, just so they could fit more settlements. I don't support that. The violence of which Israel has inflicted on the Palestinians in the past, I don't support that either. But I also do not support the terrorist organization known as Hamas. With no warning, nobody knew about it apparently. But apparently, even the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, was caught completely off guard. Kind of odd, right? That such a technologically advanced military missed this, didn't see this coming. It's very unfortunate that they didn't see this coming, or they could have done something to prevent it, right? We'll get into more about my thoughts on why they weren't able to prevent this from happening, why they didn't see it coming, and why so many people are dead. Let's look at it by the numbers. Right now, we have at least 700 dead within Israel. 260 of those were at some kind of festival event. Just having a good time. 260 people were just slaughtered between rockets and firearms. $500 are dead, at least 500 are dead in the Gaza Strip due to the retaliation of the Israeli military. And 135 is the number of hostages held by Hamas of Israeli citizens. Not Israeli military, but just everyday innocent civilians. They are now they're swearing that they are going to start executing Israeli hostages anytime the Israeli military bombs one of their buildings. Now, Israel is known by going through major extent to try to get their people back. We'll see how this plays out here. But this was an unknown and really unprovoked attack by Hamas. There had been movement on stopping the settlements and stopping a lot of what Israel was doing. And this just destroys that, along with the lives of all these people. We're only in day 3 of this war. It looks like right now, from all accounts that I have seen and read, Israel's about to make a full land invasion of the Gaza Strip. Even more people are going to die. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is happening, why we can't just have peace. Now, of course, Hamas is not just funded by the Palestinian people. In fact, the Palestinian people didn't even know this was coming. Because the Palestinian people are not stupid. The Palestinian people know for a fact that if you poke the bear, it will react. This is one of the most deadly attacks Hamas has launched at Israel. Remember, Hamas's goal is not to work with Israel. Hamas's goal is not to come to a two-state solution. The goal of Hamas is to absolutely eradicate the Israeli population, to end the existence of the Israeli state. That's their goal. That's not my bias. That's the facts. Recently, people from Hezbollah met with the leaders of Hamas. From the looks of it, Hezbollah greenlit the whole operation. Of course, too, Hamas is funded by Iran. And they receive help from the terrorist organization known as Hezbollah. There again, not my opinion, facts. Of course, Hezbollah is an organization that resides in Lebanon, Hamas in the Palestinian areas, and clearly the Gaza Strip. But how could a terrorist organization that is not the most technologically advanced, not the most sophisticated terrorist organization that exists out there, how were they able to completely keep this hidden where not one piece of security apparatus was able to catch it? Not the CIA, not MI6, not the IDF, not anybody in the intel community. How were they able to keep it so secret that nobody saw this coming? Good question, huh? That brings me to these two. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. There was a point in time during the Trump administration where Trump and Putin met behind closed doors with nobody but the two of them. Nobody recording the conversation. Nobody privy to what was said in that room. It has been reported, and it was widely reported back then, that Trump could have given Israeli defense secrets to Vladimir Putin. Now, we all know how Donald Trump works, right? When Donald Trump was called out for something, especially when he was president, he would immediately call for a press conference. because that's what he did. But anytime he was called out for something that he did, he would have a press conference and then lie that he didn't do it. Shortly after this, the rumors started swirling that he had given Israeli secrets to Vladimir Putin, who by extension funds Iran, who then funds Hamas. It is very possible that Donald Trump gave this information because he stood up there and swore up and down that he didn't do it, that he didn't give this information. But how else could they have possibly been able to get through this? How could they have been able to fool the world and know exactly where to strike, exactly when to strike, and exactly how to strike? But like I said, you've got at least 1,100 dead between Palestine and Israel. I fully support the freedom of the Palestinian people. I completely support the end of how Israel has been dealing with the Palestinians. But I also am demanding an end to the violence. There's absolutely no need for what took place this weekend. Now, I'm not one to be supportive of war, but I am supportive of a nation defending itself. When Israel has attacked the Palestinian people with, no provocation, I've been right there to condemn them. And I'll be right there to condemn Hamas when they take action like this. I guess time will tell on what happens with those 135 um, hostages. And I guess we'll see what happens with the rest of this war. How far is Israel willing to go in retaliation? They have called up 300,000 reservists in Israel to help fight this war. That's a lot of people. As was being mentioned on one of the news channels earlier today, it's a big hit to the economy of Israel to call these people out of work to fight. But if they're calling up 300,000 reservists, then it is very possible that they're looking to literally invade, occupy, and control the Gaza Strip. And at this point, I can't blame them for their reactions, because I do not believe in sitting idly by and letting terrorists destroy you or destroy your country. Normally, when these things happen, normally Hamas is targeted, a lot of times they've targeted military people, government buildings, things like that. Israel usually goes out of their way to make sure, or to try to make sure, they're not taking out too many, multiple, lots of civilians. I mean, it's kind of hard not to kill a civilian or to kill civilians when you're declaring war on a city, right? That's not something that's easy to do. But from what MSNBC was reporting, one of the reporters was reporting, is they've been trying to take tedious care to make sure people aren't in the buildings that they're destroying, that are just regular everyday civilians. But we're not in a good spot here. This is this is absolutely devastating. But it seems very odd that they were able to get through all these defenses and not, face really any repercussions early on. They were able to get right through by land, air, and sea. They even used parasailers or paragliders to get themselves, you know, the ability to attack through the air. Clearly, Hamas has been working on this for a while in conjunction with Hezbollah. The Iranian government swears they had no knowledge of it. But that's kind of not very likely that the Iranian government knew nothing of this attack when it was carried out by people that they fund and they support. All I can say is if you're the praying kind, pray for the people in the Middle East. Because that's all they got now. And there's a lot of misinformation out there trying to make like Hamas is doing more damage than they are, that Israel's doing things that they're not doing. It's just a mess. So be careful when you're watching, on social media, Twitter especially. Be careful with what you're seeing because it may not be accurate. The reason you're not seeing very many photographs of the damage that's taken place is because I can't confirm what's a current photograph and what's a past photograph. I took this one straight from a website. I believe it was CNN. I got this picture from, and so I believe this one is a current picture, but you never know. But I don't know where the world goes from here, right? We've got a war raging in Ukraine. A bunch of innocent people caught in the middle of all that by a madman who cares nothing about the people and just wants to slaughter innocent people in Ukraine. Now we have this war here where Hamas is indiscriminately killing women, children, people just out for having a good afternoon, trying to have at a music festival type event, from what I've read, on what was some kind of Hebrew holiday. So, that said, what do you think? Do you think there's a possibility that Donald Trump gave these secrets to Vladimir Putin, who then gave them to Iran, who then gave them to Hezbollah or Hamas? Is it possible? Do you think it's possible? Let me know in the comments. Where do you stand on this whole thing? Because I don't stand in support of violence, but I do support in 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 responding to defending yourself. Because I can guarantee you, as much as it wouldn't do much good, if somebody was to punch me, I would hit back. If you ask me, to this point, Israel has shown some restraint. The fact that there's any part of Gaza still standing shows restraint. The fact that only 500 Palestinians have been killed shows Israel is not just indiscriminately out there killing people. But I have nothing else for you. I really don't understand. I don't understand why this had to be. I don't understand how it happened. I don't understand how they got around all the defenses. None of it makes any sense. Anyways, this has been the Big Ranch Show. I'll see you down the road.